I would like to start off with a question. Why do people move into urban cities? To gain better access to education, to have better employment opportunities, to enhance one's standard of living, to improve one's family income, better healthcare services, simply put, to enjoy better quality of life. Speaking of quality of life, it's very interesting to see how we measure individual success inside an urban setup. The number of cars that you own, the number of houses that you own, are they sustainable enough? At one time, you can use only one car. At one time, you can use only one house. Why can't we measure success based on the number of people that you have empowered, the values that you possess? Speaking up of values, as per the latest data available by the World Bank, 56% of the global population resides around urban cities. 80% of the global GDP is being generated by this population. It's a significant value. And by 2050, it is expected that this number will increase to 70%, where the population will be residing around urban cities. The million-dollar question in hand is, whether our city is capable enough of withstanding this pressure. It's contradictory to say that when citizens move into urban cities, their dreams get shattered instantly, where they need to cruise through traffic jams to their workplace, where their mental being is being challenged, where their blood pressure is being spiked up. They need to handle the environmental pollution around them, the housing problems, where you lose your human abilities and start working like machines day in, day out, without knowing whose race that you're running. Where are the values that we speak of? For all these modern problems that we have identified in a modern setup, we have come up with a modern solution, which we call smart cities. In layperson terms, what a smart city is, you have information and communication technology that is being used to enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of city operations in a more sustainable approach. Technology is advancing at an explosive rate, so does the evolution of smart cities. As per my reading, there are two prominent types of smart cities, one being the technocentric smart cities and the other being the human-centric smart cities. I will have the technical jargons aside and try to relate it through examples. Let's assume the technocentric smart city is just like where you queue up in front of a smartphone dealer shop to purchase the latest smartphone model in the market, where you do not know the capabilities of the product, the functionality, the specification, the capacities. Simply put, the service provider has created a need and you're satisfying them. It's sometimes not what you really want. Then you have the human-centric, where you give a human touch to the world of technology without overboarding technology, trying to cater the needs and wants of the citizens. Starting off from accountability to transparency to whatever the buoyant solution that the citizens demand. Let's assume our human body as a city. We have different organs has different functionalities. Being interconnected with technology, that technology is our brain. But we don't let technology overboard because there's a mind and a heart to guide this technology. Let's assume technocentric boils down to robots, human-centric boils down to humans. So what is the difference between robots and humans? Morality, empathy. Then we speak of self-awareness. Simply put, it's values. Values that has been shaped up by culture, passed from community living. We have experienced many short or failures in smart city implementations in our context as well as in other parts of the world. The biggest reason behind them, when you really look into, is the haphazard approaches towards smart city initiatives, poor performance of the institutional pillar, the political pillar, failing to understand the public perception has been in the forefront. We have been copy-pasting models which has been successful from one context to our context. It doesn't work that way because one size will not fit all. We have our own set of values. In real life, you don't have a shift delete button where you can permanently erase mistakes that you do. Because smart city implementations must be very smooth, must be very tactical. Because one slight mistake can cost you billions, as well as it can lose confidence of your residents. Why is this a pressing issue? Because by 2050, we need to have smart cities which can withstand this pressure. And we need to predict whatever the other challenges that we need to face. So isn't value, community living, culture, the elephant in the room that we are not addressing? It's still doubtful. Because why will we always take our smartphones to record some other person who is in distress when we can actually go and lend a hand in support? Because we run behind technological goals. It can be followers, subscribers, viewership. What we value is something different. What we actually do is something different. And that's what we have been doing with smart city implementations as well. What we value is something different, and what we actually do is something different. This is All Blacks Rugby, the national rugby team of New Zealand. They perform a haka during every match they play against. What does a haka mean to you? What does a haka mean to them? It's symbolic. It has a culture behind it. Power, determination, braveriness, unity. When you look into their eyes, you know, no matter what the outcome of the game, whether they win or lose, they will put on a show where they will fight for every inch and every second of the game. For me, they represent longevity, sustainable growth over the centuries, because generations have come and gone. Teams have come and gone. But anyone who wore that all-black jersey, their prowess has remained the same because they stick to their values. Not that. They connected with us. I'm a die-hard fan of All Blacks rugby. But I never played rugby in my life. I had a fine share of achievements in basketball, but never in rugby. I never stepped foot into New Zealand in the first place. Why will I wake up in the middle of a night? Or why will I take my lunch break a bit early? Or why will I cancel a doctor's appointment just to watch an All Blacks rugby match? Because they have connected with us. I feel through their values that I'm part of that team. Not that. I have a sense of belongingness. Do you feel a sense of belongingness in the city that you live? Sigiriya, a kingdom on top of a rock, dates back to the 3rd century. It has been declared as the World Heritage Site by UNESCO, considered as the 8th wonder of the world, not only because of its beauty, but also for other fascinating elements. Water management. You see, this picture is from 3 different seasons. Water was available for drinking purposes as well as for irrigational purposes. Irrigational purposes which happen on top of a rock. A self-sufficient economy. For the last 1,500 years of its existence, none of those pools on the top of the rock has ever dried up or overflown. Isn't that technology? They were the early civilizations of Sri Lanka who brought rainwater harvesting into the scenario. Isn't that cutting-edge technology? It doesn't stop there. They had their own waste management system, transportation system, healthcare services. We are speaking of a skyscraper that existed 1,500 years ago, a smart city which was efficient and effective, which was true to nature and true to the values of that civilization. Sigiriya is a center of aesthetics, culture, facilitated learning through shared spaces like pools and gardens, where the community could refresh their ideas. So for the past 1,500 years, everyone is boasting about ancient planning and its engineering. I do understand that modern needs and wants have changed. I do understand that technology has changed in the first place. So what I'm asking is not to recreate another Sigiriya, but to take the essence out of it, understand the values behind it, be true to nature so that we can master the art of managing smart cities. 50 years ago, Sri Lanka didn't have traffic jams. We didn't have skyscrapers. We were very close to environment, very close to agriculture, fisheries industry, promoted ourselves as a tourist destination. 50 years ago, the other part of the world, they started expanding their economies. They had traffic jams. They had skyscrapers which came as solutions for housing problems, polluted the environment, air, land, water. 50 years after, we have traffic jams. We have skyscrapers. We are drifting away from nature, agriculture, our fisheries industry. Then the other part of the world, they're coming with minimalist concepts, trying to get rid of the unwanted, stick to the basics. Something went wrong somewhere. Today, Sri Lanka is trying its level best to become the other part of the world which was 50 years ago. And the other part of the world is trying to become just like Sri Lanka 50 years ago. We traded our values over technology. We let technology govern us instead of our values governing everything. We can have technology, but within our own value system. So, throughout what I've been speaking is the importance of values. Technology can actually create a space for all of us to live. And combine that space with a human touch, we are able to convert that space into a livable space. And the right set of values that is being integrated towards it, we are capable enough of converting this livable space into a sustainable space, which is the dream of every smart city stakeholder. And where you will have a sense of belongingness. I'm very grateful for Mr. Tilina Kalutotage for granting permission for me to share some of the angles of our urban cities, including the smart city pictures. What I urge from you is start working on the values. So in the future, when I look into these pictures of an urban setup around us, it needs to be vibrant enough, and I need to have a sense of belongingness inside them, where I feel like I want to live in that city. So, ladies and gentlemen, smart cities goes beyond technology. Stick to your values.